Hi, I'm Gray Larsen. I'd like to tell you about a real game changer in the world of low D penny whistles. This is the Carbony low D whistle with close finger spacing via chimney extenders. I'll explain the chimney extenders in just a bit, but first, what's most important is this. At long last, people with small or compromised hands can easily play a low D whistle with its beautiful flute-like sonority. The finger holes on this whistle are very comfortable for people with hands of almost any size. Even though I have fairly large hands, I much prefer to play this kind of low D with a close finger spacing. My hands can be much more relaxed, and I can execute the techniques of Irish ornamentation much more easily on this whistle. Here you can see how much easier it is to cover the holes of the low D whistle with close finger hole spacing. Notice how my hands, which are fairly large in size, are positioned on these two whistles. You can see the wide spacing of my fingers on the standard whistle shown on the left. The stretch between holes 5 and 6 is especially large and is very problematic for many people. I'm able to use the end pad of my left hand ring finger on hole number 3, but with all the other holes, I have to use a different part of my finger, which results in less agility and less control. With the close-spaced whistle, shown on the right, I can easily use the end pads of all 6 fingers. This is a far more relaxed way to hold the whistle, and it gives me much more freedom of movement. It's such a joy to play this whistle. Close spacing is available with all the whistles of Carbony's Big Bore series, the low C whistle, which plays a whole step below the low D, as well as the low E flat, low E, and low F whistles. In this pair of photographs you can see on your left the Carbony low D whistle with close finger spacing, and on your right the Carbony low G whistle. When you compare the upper hand in both of these photos and the lower hand in both of these photos, you'll see that the finger hole spacing is pretty much identical. Actually, the lower hand finger hole spacing on the low D whistle is a little bit closer than on the low G. You'll notice that the bottom 2 fingers are a little bit closer together in the photo on your left compared to the photo on your right. So, how does Rob Gondera, the maker of these Carbony whistles, achieve this amazing innovation with the finger hole spacing? First of all, notice that the wall of the whistle is rather thick. That thickness of the wall is very important. Again, you can compare it with a thin-walled low D whistles. Most of them are like that with thin walls. So, first, Rob drills each finger hole at an angle. So the bottom of each hole, where it opens up into the whistle's bore, is at a different location on the tube than the top of the finger hole. The top of the hole, which is where your finger makes contact with the whistle, joins the bottom of the hole to form a little angled tunnel or chimney. By drilling holes at an angle, Rob can place the tops of the holes closer together than those on a standard whistle. On a standard whistle, the holes are just drilled straight down and not at an angle. The benefit of angled drilling is increased by extending the chimneys even further into the bore using little short tubes, the chimney extenders. Using these extenders, the tops of the finger holes can be placed even closer together, resulting in a vast increase in finger and hand comfort. So, what about the sound? Is the sound of the whistle impaired in any way by having the finger holes close together or by having little tubes extending into the bore of the whistle? The answer is no, not at all. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to play a traditional Irish jig called the Humours of Glynn, first on the standard whistle and then on the one with the close finger spacing. So here's the standard whistle with finger holes further apart. And now I'll play the same tune on the Carbony Lodi whistle with the close finger hole spacing, much more comfortable to play. You might decide that you want the close finger hole spacing for just your upper hand or just your lower hand instead of both hands. If so, you can easily specify that when you place your order. Personally, I prefer having the close spacing for both of my hands. Rob Gondera is always happy to customize your whistle, so if you want something special, such as an offset of one or more of the finger holes off of the center line of the whistle, just describe the customization you want when you're placing your order. Here is another helpful option for the Carbony big bore whistles like this low D, and it also works for the mezzo range of Carbony whistles. And it's an adjustable and movable thumb rest, which helps you hold the whistle more easily. So I'm going to show you how it works. It just snaps right on the back of the whistle, and then you can slide it into place. And the idea is for your lower hand thumb to rest just underneath the thumb rest. That provides a lot more support for the whistle. By the way, I had Carbony add 2 thumb holes to my low D whistle with the close finger hole spacing. The top thumb hole provides a useful and clear sounding alternate fingering for C natural. I'll show you how that works. You can use the normal cross fingering for C natural like this, or instead I can use the thumb hole to produce a very clear, beautiful, and unclouded sounding C natural. Let me show you. When I turn to the side, you can see me open the thumb hole. I find that very useful. Sometimes I use the cross fingering, sometimes I use the thumb hole in different situations. The bottom thumb hole makes it possible for me to very easily play an F natural, which is a note that's usually quite difficult to play on the D whistle. Normally you would have to do so by half holing or just partly opening the fifth hole like this. Hard to do, hard to get a really in tune F without a lot of practice. But with the thumb hole, I can get a great F natural like this. I'll turn so you can see my thumb. So this is great for those tunes that are in D minor or G minor or F major, or if you're playing another kind of music besides traditional Irish music, that might be a very important note for you. You can choose 1 or 2 thumb holes when you place your order for your whistle. If you have any questions about this close-spaced whistle, or about any aspect of any of the Carbony Celtic wind instruments, please send me an email at gray@graylarsen.com. I'll get back with you promptly. Thanks for watching.